In this week's GTA 5 o'clock, we talk Mystery Towns, confirmed characters and collector's edition details, how Tommy Vercetti could be your dad, plus gambling, heists and customisation in GTA Online. It's the only YouTube show that's seen the game in action. It's this week's GTA 5 o'clock. Hi, welcome to this week's GTA 5 o'clock. I'm Tim Weaver. My regular co-host Dan is away on holiday this week, so James Jarvis is here. Hello, James.
Hello, Tim. Hello, everyone.
Regular listeners will, of course, know James very well by now. This week we've got plenty on the menu. We're going to start off by just quickly running through the new screenshots that landed in the last couple of days. Then we're going to talk about all the stuff that's been announced for the collector's edition. And then we're going to do your questions. James, let's talk about the screenshots. We're going to do them in the order that they're on the website.
Yeah.
First screenshot is
the one with the helicopter, which is heading towards Del Perro Pier. We think that ridge in the distance, Tim, you think is that where you saw that other town when you went to see the online demo?
Yeah, when we saw GTA Online, when we nicked the Titan from Los Santos Airport, we kind of brought the plane actually along the coast, this very path that this helicopter's taken now, past Del Perro Pier, and then kind of bore north. I can't remember off the top of my head whether it was around the mountains or this side of the mountains, but we definitely saw some kind of settlement over the ridge on the western coast. So possibly over the side of those mountains there will be the mysterious town that we've yet to find out what it's called. And
you were pretty sure that wasn't part of Los Santos as a whole? It
certainly didn't seem like it. Now, we could be proven wrong, of course. The trouble is, I think, when you see a game in action and when it's demoed to you, there's so much happening, and you're obviously making notes so quickly and trying to take in everything that's going on, that there is the possibility that you misconstrue things or you see things perhaps differently than they're intended to. What made me think that it was a separate town was the fact that there seemed to be a definite sort of swathe of darkness between the edge of Los Santos and where this new settlement kind of picked up. That's what made me think it was a separate kind of settlement. And I mean, maybe Rockstar wouldn't have said anything, but when we interviewed Leslie Benzies and we asked him about that town, specifically asked him about it, said, "Is there, have we glimpsed a new town?" They didn't outright come out and say, no, that's part of Los Santos, but admittedly they didn't really comment on it at all. But if it was part of Los Santos and we misconstrued it so badly, you would have thought that they would say that it was definitely part of Los Santos. Yeah. The fact that they didn't makes me think that maybe there's something more to it than we think. But who knows? Maybe once we get the game in a couple of weeks, we'll find out that it's actually just a part of Los Santos.
Yep, all right. The other thing we can see in the screenshot is the boat, which is probably the Dignity, which you've seen in other screenshots before. We've seen Michael's daughter, Tracy.
Yep.
We've seen her on it, partying with some of her friends and stuff. So I guess that boat is a regular occurrence from the pier, like it goes
some
on
sort of pleasure cruise kind of thing.
It goes around the sort of coastline and shows you a bit around, so I think you could probably take a little trip on that during part of the game.
This thing off the edge of the ends of the, it's difficult to explain it, but in the screenshot, hopefully James you'll be able to show this on screen for people. The sort of nub on the end of the land there, is that an island, or is that a bit where the coast kind of kinks round?
I think that's probably a bit of land sticking out.
Okay.
Rather than a separate, it looks quite small to be a separate island. Really, it might be like a little crop of rocks, but as a nice new proper island, I don't think we've seen that yet. If we're going to see it at all. Okay,
next screenshot is the biplane passing over the vineyards. James, we think these vineyards are grapeseed.
Grapeseed, yeah. We've seen the postcard of the tractor in the same sort of location saying greetings from Grapeseed. We think that this is located on the far west side of the map, close to the Zancudo River, where it exits into the sea. Possibly around the same area where you saw that mystery town, like that sort of.
Yeah, I think this might be sort of north of there, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it may possibly be Grapeseed, but I wouldn't have thought this really looks like it's out in the sticks. So I wouldn't have thought it'd be that close to the city.
No, and we've seen this set up before in one of the trailers when the crop plane dusts a load of men that are picking the stuff. So I mean, we have seen it before, but this is a nice wide angle view of what we can expect from Grapeseed.
And I think we can probably assume that that's Trevor in the plane. I don't know whether this is part of the sequence in his trailer where he takes the plane back to Los Santos, but what everyone out there will obviously be aware of, and what we're increasingly aware of here, is that all the screenshots, Rockstar are actually quite clever with their screenshots, and they're showing off what they seem to be showing off a lot, but actually not showing off that much, because a lot of these sections are kind of slightly shifted on, or from different angles, or that kind of thing. So I think this is all part of that sequence. Okay, next screenshot is I think that is Franklin. Yes, that's Franklin in a Banshee. Blur effect suggests he's going pretty fast,
or using a special, maybe.
He could be using a special. The only reason I didn't think he might not be using a special is because it hasn't got that special tint to the screenshot, or at least it doesn't look like it. But who knows? Maybe he is. Anything else on there, James?
Not really. Just that it's in the city, or sort of around the outskirts of the city, based on the shops and the other things around there. But no, it's Franklin driving a car.
Yeah. Next one, probably not an awful lot to talk about here. The only thing I sort of picked up on was Franklin's customised watch. Well, it looked like it's customised. Probably that's customisable anyway. Franklin's got like 3 sort of rows in his hair, so I wonder whether you may be able to fiddle around to that degree with your own personal
custom
appearance.
haircut.
Yeah. Other than that, James, I don't know whether you've noticed anything.
No, Trevor's got his normal tattoos and his cut hair thing on his neck. He's also got the cross, which we've seen before with Michael, on his arm, just under his shirt there. But other than that, it's just the 3 guys having a chat. I'm not quite sure where they are. I think you can see some kind of planning board in the background with some pictures of some ladies on it.
Yeah.
But that could be in anyone's house, really.
Okay. Next screenshot is, I believe that boat is a marquee. I think it's the same boat that we saw on the back of that lorry in trailer 2 when Jimmy's sort of like swinging
falling
off it.
Right.
Or at least the same make of boat. It might not necessarily be the same boat, but that presumably tells us that you can take a genteel drift down the river at some points if you get busy of shooting people.
Yeah, I think we've seen the marina, which is full of these kind of boats and stuff, so it wouldn't be much of a stretch to think that you could buy one or rent one or something, or spend some kind of money taking it out along down the coastline for a bit. Where would you say this is in relation to everything, Tim?
I'd say it's looking north.
From the south of the map.
Yeah, I think so, because you can see the ridges of the mountains sort of bending round, and I would say north probably.
And is that the airport on the right hand side? We see like.
Oh yeah, it's a control tower. That's a really good spot. I didn't actually see that. Yeah, it could be the control tower. In which case, maybe it's sort of northeast. But yeah, definitely facing up the map. I think from this position, heading down towards the bottom of the map. Okay, next screenshot is Trevor and Michael having a discussion with lots of items scattered around them. On the left is a dilettante smoking, presumably bust. Behind Michael and Trevor is a phantom lorry. James, anything else to add?
No, just maybe this is, I would assume, the end of a mission or heist or something, judging by the fact that the car is a little bit smashed up and they've got a giant lorry in the storm drains.
Yeah.
I don't know where Franklin is in this, but yeah, it looks like they're having some kind of... Either they've had an argument and all the stuff is spilled out, or something's gone quite wrong in their getaway plans, and they've had to ditch it all and come back for it later.
Yeah. Okay, next screenshot. These last 2, not an awful lot to say about this. This is Franklin shooting at cops. James?
I think he's in the same location-ish that we see Franklin in his character trailer walking out of those tower block buildings. It's around there. And we can also see a blurry police sign on the side of the car, which has the return of the Sasquatch.
Oh, of course.
logo.
We haven't seen that in any screenshots since that very first trailer. Yeah, that's a really good spot. So, yeah, again, get your conspiracy theories up and running as to whether there might be Bigfoot in the game. It's nice. It's a lovely little touch, that. And finally, just a lovely sort of picturesque shot of the City of Lights, Los Santos. James, anything to add there?
Well, it's a very nice shot. You can see a lot of things. Only that in the far right-hand side at the bottom, you can see the building that we saw in the gameplay trailer with the advert for like that reality TV show on. So if you want to place this in terms of geography and stuff, that building is in the far right-hand side there. Again,
the Mile High Club looks sort of more finished in this screenshot. It sort of looks more complete around the top. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. It just maybe the darkness hides all the holes in it.
Yeah, it might be that it's nighttime, or it might be that they are actually building it either in terms of like in time for release. It will be when the game's finished, the Mile High Club will be finished, or maybe when online is ready to go, the Mile High Club will become active. We're not really sure.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, maybe.
But we think we've seen it being increasingly built over the course of these screenshots. But as you say, it might just be the nighttime.
Okay, so those are the screenshots that popped up over the last couple of days to celebrate the arrival of news, or more news anyway, about GTA 5 Special and Collector's Editions, which we're going to talk about now. So what we'll do is we'll run through what Rockstar have put out on the newswire, maybe stop and discuss a couple of things about it. So they say GTA 5 Special and Collector's Edition available for pre-order from select retailers while supplies last, include a bevy of enhancements and accessories for all three of the protagonists, as well as your character in Grand Theft Auto Online as you navigate the streets, skies and showrooms of Los Santos and Blaine County. And then they go on to say this is the detail what it includes. So, additional weapons. Regardless of which version you've chosen, your local ammunition will always be stocked with a pair of special firearms at no additional cost that also have their own unique customization options, skins and attachments. The 50 caliber pistol and the bullpup shotgun. You'll also have access to the hammer, which acts as a brutal melee weapon. Okay, so we've seen screenshots, James, of Michael holding the bullpup shotgun. Are we to assume that the 50 caliber pistol is probably Franklin's gun of choice, and the hammer, a literal hammer, is Trevor's, given that he's got a special ability which allows him to go crazy?
Makes him go crazy. Yeah, that would make sense. We've seen a lot of screenshots with Franklin holding a pistol and things, so that seems to be his sort of go-to weapon of choice. Trevor, yes, more than likely would prefer the up-close and personal, brutal sort of attack of a hammer, and yeah, like you say, we've seen Michael holding the shotgun already, so I guess that's like an extra weapon for each one of your characters that you're using, and it will always be there for free in ammunition.
Okay, bonus outfits, tattoos and more. When visiting any shops around Los Santos and Blaine County, Michael, Franklin and Trevor will receive a special 20% discount along with access to special items either in their personal wardrobes all from stores. Each character will receive one outfit each, one additional article of clothing, a shirt, hoodie and a jacket each, and a tattoo. I don't know what to add about that really.
No, we've seen the screenshot of them wearing some of their individual outfits there. They all look very nice.
They do, yeah.
But yeah, 20% off, like 20% off discount is quite good. I guess, for when you're buying stuff and you're a bit strapped for cash.
What's interesting there is the phrase either in their personal wardrobes or from stores. I mean, do you think that means that clothes sort of appear in you have a sort of wardrobe and clothes appear in there, or do you think it means that you have a personal wardrobe in store, or do you think, well,
we've seen Trevor's wardrobe, or at least a small hint of it when he's walking around and stuff, so I'd imagine when you buy outfits when you're out shopping and stuff, they'll be sort of auto-generated in your house, so whenever you're back there you can go, I'm going to go to my wardrobe and change into this thing that I bought in the shop.
So you buy it, that's what I was going to say, you buy it in store and then it appears in your wardrobe.
I would have thought so, so you can change, you don't have to go back to the shop every time.
GTA Online introduces a new spin on traditional character creation with the hereditary-based creation system. Now, this is under custom characters for Grand Theft Auto Online. This is interesting. Select your character's appearance by choosing your parent's heritage. Then use the gene dominance meter to dial in which parent your appearance favours more. Additionally, you'll customise your character's daily activities. Everything from family time to illegal work and sports to couch potato hours all have an impact on your character's appearance and skill set, and you can always rank up your skill stats more via gameplay. As part of the Collector's Edition package, you'll get Nico Bellic, along with both Claude and Misty from Grand Theft Auto 3, to use as parent options within the character creation system. This is probably the biggest sort of revelation within this new info dump, James. What do you make of that?
We didn't know about this at all before now, and it seems that when you're creating your character online, you can use like the gene pool from previous GTA characters to sort of make yourself a hybrid, not child, because I imagine everyone in GTA Online will be sort of middle-aged, but yeah, you can take the genes from Nico if you want and merge them with Misty and create some kind of hybrid character.
Yeah. If I know how Rockstar are though, and that they'll keep quite a tight rein on it, I think. So they won't allow you to go off and create some grotesque hybrid that's able to sort of run around the world in a sort of Saints Row style. So although I think you'll be able to have some fun with your character design and go out there and create, put on some crazy clothes and kind of do some funny things with the build and the physicality of your character, I doubt very much whether you'll be able to have them running around in the world with a moose head on, wearing a jockstrap or something like that. I don't think it's likely. What's interesting is everything from family time to illegal work and sports to couch potatoes all have an impact on your character's appearance and skill set, which kind of almost goes against what we were hearing earlier on, which is there won't be any sort of RPG kind of elements to character design, but before that you'll customise your character's daily activities. So do you think that means that you create a routine for your character?
I'd imagine, you give him or her sort of things that you do when you're offline. So you'd say, my guy normally goes and plays sports for 3 hours a day, and then he sits around and watching TV and stuff, and all of that will contribute towards the stats that you earn. Maybe they're accumulative offline, so you go back 2 days later and it's you've done 2 days of sitting around, now you're a bit slower, you haven't been running around so much. So it'd be a nice way to have everyone sort of, you think that you're interacting with them all the time, what they'd be doing when you go to work or you go to school or whatever. You're because my online guy's going to be sitting around watching films, or he'll be off playing tennis. But it's interesting that the hours you put into things all relate to your character's skill set.
Finally, the only other thing to pick up is Nico Bellic is fair enough. I mean, that shouldn't be too hard to do. But Claude and Misty existed in a different era. They existed in era 2001. So, I mean, presumably we're assuming there'll be a new 2013 version of Claude and Misty, rather than you running around in 2013 as a 2001 polygon.
And also, I guess you have to think that if they've got those two people that they're giving away as part of the special edition, who else is going to be in there that you can take from the gene pool? I mean, they've got a whole host of characters. Tommy Vercetti. You could have loads of people. I think that's more than likely that they'll have those as well. So next is special ability boost. Michael, Franklin and Trevor each have their own unique special ability, which can be activated once each of them fills up the special ability bar based on various actions. Michael is an expert marksman. His special ability slows down time in a gunfight, allowing him to pick off his targets with greater ease. Franklin is a skilled driver with sharp reflexes. His special ability lets him slow down time while driving any road-based vehicle, allowing him to quickly navigate through traffic with ease and take corners at high speeds. Trevor is a drug-addled sociopath with a short fuse. His special ability sends him into a rage, causing double damage to enemies while only taking half as much damage himself when hit. With the boost that's included in both the Special and Collector's Edition, the special ability bar will generate 25% faster. Now, we knew a lot of that. The only thing that sort of slightly made me double take was the phrase drug-addled sociopath. Now, we knew he was a bit of a crazy mofo, but drug-addled suggests he's
I don't know whether that means medicinal drugs or whether it means he's literally high on his own supply.
From the trailers that we've seen, like he's got like a little lab in the places that he hangs out with and stuff. I suggest that maybe he's into some of the harder stuff.
Yeah.
And sort of is I guess you'd have to cope with that when you're playing, like cope with some of his come downs and things like that, and when he goes a bit crazy every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly an interesting device to use within the context of the storyline, because Michael and Franklin to an extent have to cope with who Trevor is and what he brings to the party, and the flip side of that, what he brings to the party in terms of flipping out and flying off the handle, and that will obviously, the fact that he's probably high on his own supply means that it may provide some good conflict within the confines of the story.
25% faster recharge rate is quite a lot.
It's significant.
It's quite quick.
Yeah, it is significant, and I think that's pretty handy. I mean, we don't know how quickly those specials regenerate regularly, but I mean, it does sound like a lot. 25%. Okay, next, stunt plane trials. Take in Los Santos and Blaine County at breakneck speeds in the Grand Theft Auto 5 stunt plane trials. In 5 thrilling and unique challenges, you'll zip through mountains, deserts, oceans and cities as you navigate through a maze of checkpoints, each place to push your stunt plane to the limit. Completing each trial will improve the piloting skill of your character. Compare your times with friends and vie for the top spot on the leaderboard. James, what do you...
I was quite surprised that there were only 5 stunt plane trials, like as a thing. I mean, I guess there'll be more in the game, and this is just 5 extra ones as part of the special edition. But
that must be what it means.
Because 5 isn't enough, really, to have all that space to fly around planes in.
Unless, of course, they're sort of segmented they're broken down into sub trials. So there might be like 5 trials, but they're each made up of 5 different components.
Could be that. So you get like 5 in the mountains, and then 5 in that could work.
But compare your times with friends and vie for top spot on the leaderboard, suggesting, as we've been talking about on GTA 5 for a long time, that there will be a way of matching yourself against friends to see how they do, that kind of thing. Unique vehicles and garage properties. This is Collector's Edition only. The Collector's Edition also features an exclusive garage to store custom vehicles that come stocked with the Carbon RS Sports Bike and the Hot Knife, an open frame 1930s style hot rod. In GTA Online, your garage and the high-end Chameleon electric car, which is specific to GTA Online, are both purchased through in-game websites accessed through your online character's cell phone. We knew a lot of that already. What's interesting is they now put down in black and white that the Chameleon is definitely only appearing in GTA Online.
Yeah.
So a lot of you out there have been asking whether the Chameleon would appear in GTA 5. We didn't have an answer, to be honest, because Rockstar, didn't want to talk about it too much. But now we do, and it seems that if you want the Chameleon, which actually in the screenshot on the Newswire looks pretty nice, if you want it, you have to get online. It's
still an electric car, though.
It is an electric car, but it looks like a fast electric car. If that's any consolation. Okay, so that's this week's news from the Newswire. Just very, very quickly, there is a new update to the GTA Online, GTA 5 website. By the time this goes out, it may even, some of the other blocks may have even filled in. So we won't spend too much time talking about this. Only wanted to say that if you go to Serenity and Wellness on the website, you'll meet Fabien LaRouche, who Dan and I have talked about quite a lot on the show over the last couple of months, speculating who the guy in the necklace and the ankle bracelet is. Well, now we know. It's Fabien LaRouche.
Here he is, and he's the one that Michael's wife likes doing a few yoga sessions with, that they may or may not be doing. Well, if you look at some of the moves, punching starfish, you can see that the old Fabian likes to get a bit touchy-feely with his clients.
Yeah, I mean, in the Michael trailer, is it the Michael trailer when he catches Amanda at it?
Yeah, I think so. And she runs and says, "Don't kill him."
That's right. Yeah, the Didier Sachs pants man. We weren't sure initially whether it was this guy or not, but I think it probably is, given some of his lovely yoga moves. It's definitely, Fabien Larouche is definitely the guy that Michael beats down with a tray in the cafe.
Yeah.
So what are his moves, James?
He has got 3 of them that we can see on the website. He's got the punching starfish, which is a pose that requires discipline to be entered slowly or injury may occur.
Right, okay.
So that's some good tips there from Fabien.
Literally a good tip.
He's also got the downward facing camel, which has some words about the third eye being opened and everyone having a great time. And then he's got the lucky triangle, which is a deeply spiritual pose. Frequently begins with salutations with a potential partner to see if they're interested in stretching their mind and spirits after consuming some. Often requires a safe word.
Yeah, worth checking out that one, because Fabian's face is absolutely immense on the website. Okay, so that was the only thing we want to mention on that. Okay, let's take some questions then. We've had quite a few this week. We'll do our best to answer as many as we can. So the realist 9111 says, I watched all of the recent GTA 5 o'clocks and was wondering if pets are in GTA Online and can be used as a companion. A surprising amount of you actually have asked about whether you'll be able to own a dog like Chop in GTA Online. We weren't shown anything to do with animals when we went to see online. That doesn't necessarily mean it isn't possible. In fact, given that online is such a close approximation of GTA 5's world, I would think it very unlikely that you would not be able to, in some form, have a pet.
Yeah, I think Rockstar have said quite a lot that the online side of GTA mirrors GTA 5 almost exactly. So anything you can do in the single player game, almost anything you can do in the multiplayer. And as we know, you can own dogs or Chop, especially in GTA 5. So whether you can actually take him out with you when you're doing sort of death matches and stuff, we don't know, but I'd imagine that you'd have something that would live at least in your apartment that you could go back and see.
Yeah. Joshua Chan says, when you saw the demo and gameplay, was there any hint of casinos or any form of gambling? No, there wasn't. We didn't see any casinos. However, I do think there will be a casino in the game, at least one, maybe a couple. Yeah,
I think on the map we've even seen what some people, especially on GTA forums, have pointed out to be the shape of a casino. It's just to the east side of the map, I think, just outside of Los Santos, and that's where there is a giant casino there. So from what we've seen, I would say that yes, there are casinos in there.
I would say definitely casinos. In terms of gambling, yes, again, I think there will be, and in fact you could argue that by going on the stock market it's a form of gambling, because you're taking your money on there and you may make a lot of money or you may lose a lot of money. So yes is the answer to that. Okay, Chris Hall says, do you think any cash made from properties, i.e. rental properties, restaurants, car dealerships, etc., will be direct deposited into your account? I don't know about anyone else, but that was the best and worst part of GTA for me. I loved having an alternative revenue stream, but hated having to physically go and pick up the profits. James, what do you reckon?
I would say that the GTA 5 is set now in the modern world, and how everything works in the modern world is if you own a property or you've got cash coming in or you've got a job or something, then that does go directly into your bank rather than you having to go and pick it up.
Yeah.
I just think that would be the way that it would go.
I think that'll be. I mean, there are so many ways to make money now in GTA 5 as opposed to previous GTAs. Everything is built around a financial system. When we went to see Leslie Benzies, it was so complex that they were still trying to work out what prices to how to price things up and how to make the economy kind of tick over. So I definitely think that there'll be the internet. We know there's the internet in the game, so we know that there'll be that opportunity to do that. So I think that the answer to your question, Chris, is the frustrations you found in previous GTAs, I think, will be ironed out in this new one.
And you've got to think that the map is so big, you don't want to be travelling from one end to the other just to pick up a couple of $1,000 from your taxi firm or whatever. So it makes sense to go straight in.
That said, of course, you probably can drive around with a load of money on you, because we know in GTA Online you have the option to either deposit money or to carry money around with you. And although Rockstar actively encourage you to deposit the money you earn, they're not going to force that upon you. So if people out there want to live on the edge, then that option is available too. Okay, Rastafari Suede, I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce your name, has got in touch and said, can you make more than one online player, or start over if you want to make a major change to the character? The honest answer is don't know, because Rockstar haven't really talked about this, but let's take both sides of that. Can you make more than one online player? I guess you could.
Possibly. I would imagine the way, and this is how all online games work at the moment. If you make another character, you start again from the beginning.
That's what I was going to say. I guess you could, if you wanted to start again with none of your stats and no money.
Yeah.
If you want to make a major change to your character, I guess it depends what major change you mean. If it means like a physical change, then I would think that's relatively easy within the character creation system. But I wouldn't, I don't know what you would term a major change. If you mean like I don't know what that would mean.
Do it right from the beginning would be our advice.
Yeah,
make sure you're happy.
I think you probably can have a second character, but you'd have to forego all the good work you've done on your other character. And of course, once you're in the world and you're accruing RP and you're accruing money, what you don't want to do really is go back to year zero, I'd have thought.
And you've got loads of customization anyway. We know you can buy outfits and haircuts and tattoos and things, so there's loads of things you could do to change it to make yourself happy. If you've made a horrible mistake, you might be able to fix it anyway.
Yeah. Phil WM on Twitter says, how can you insure your vehicle on GTA 5? Again, Phil, to be honest, we don't know, because they haven't shown us the actual how it's the insurance side of things is structured. What I would think you do, given what we know about the game already and given how closely aligned it is to the modern world, I would think you either go into a shop, into an insurance agent and ask for insurance, and it's literally a couple of button presses, or you can do it through the internet.
Yeah, I'd imagine you do it, especially with the online stuff, like in your apartment you can go and you get your car and you insure it for X amount of money and stuff, and then it's just there. It happens.
Okay, James, the Harper Games says, how many gamers are allowed to do heists?
Well, I think you've talked about this briefly before on the online side of things. I think it's going to start off quite small, so you only be able to do sort of like basic-ish heists compared to the main game. But I think when you spoke to them, Rockstar said they were planning to expand it into giant, maybe 12, possibly even 16 player heists against the NPCs.
Yeah, so there's 16 players in the world at any one time, so it makes sense that up to 16 players would be able to do heists, I would think. Now, that is not going to be, as James has said just then, that's not going to happen off the bat, because what Rockstar want to do above all else is make sure that the online world kind of ticks over. So all we saw was 4-player heists, a maximum of 4-player, and I imagine that's probably where they'll place the ceiling for the time being, to see how it kind of ticks over and see how the world works and how people respond to it. Once I think they're happy with how that's working, they'll probably expand it to 8, and then they'll probably expand it up to 16, I would think. That's pure speculation on my and James' part, not confirmation from Rockstar, but given what they've said, I would think that's most likely. What we do know is that Leslie Benzie said to us in the interview that there would be eventually heists with up to 20, I think he said, component parts. Now, we don't know exactly what he means by component parts, but 20 is like the ultimate heist, I guess. So I would think, to start with, we're talking about heists that are probably 6, 8 component parts. By the end, we're talking about heists with 20 component parts, and therefore I think you'll probably need more people. Sorting out and managing 16 individual players in a heist is certainly going to take some planning.
That's some good leadership you've got there, if you can pull that off.
Yeah. Julian X Dig by X Bottin says, it just wants to make a point. He says, I bet you can customise your planes, helicopters and boats as well. It's not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure in some way it'll be like the car customisation, and you'll at least be able to change the paint. I think that's probably quite likely.
Correct. Agree.
Yeah.
We've seen loads of different coloured planes. some different sort of things on like choppers and things like that. We've also seen custom designs on parachutes and stuff, so I'd expect it to expand well beyond cars and into basically everything you own.
I'm not sure you'll be able to do the same level of customization that you can do on. I don't think it'll drive down so deep as it does on cars. I think cars are but I agree. I think you will be able to do.
Yeah, you won't be able to like. Cars you can do handling and steering and stuff. It won't be that deep, but at least different paint jobs and emblems and symbols and stuff for sure.
Okay, finally, Cole Life on Twitter says, do you think someone will be able to interrupt you in the middle of your heist and try to kill you and your crew? I would say, again, Rockstar haven't confirmed this, but I would say probably not, and here's why. When we spoke to Leslie Benzies about ambient activities, we were talking about tennis, and one of the things Rockstar said to us was that no one would be able to fire a missile at you while you were playing a game of tennis. Once you were in that game of tennis, you were in that game of tennis. You know, it couldn't be interrupted by bombs going off or gunfire. So that makes me think that once you're into a heist and there's 4 of you competing against NPCs, that you know, maybe you can't get interrupted by rival gangs trying to disturb your heist. Otherwise, how do you ever complete a heist? Because there's always going to be rival gangs trying to. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that makes sense. I think if you start a mission with your 4 teammates, you're sort of then locked into that environment. Like you're sort of everyone else is still in the world doing stuff, but they can't sort of interact with you because, as you say, you'd just end up getting to the end of the heist, getting all the money, and then like 4 guys would just come in and shoot you, and it would just be chaos.
And where's the fun really in like planning a heist, getting halfway in, having spent some time putting it together, and then somebody coming in and shooting you dead? I mean, it's just that doesn't seem very fun to me. So
I mean, there might be a mode where you get 2 rival gangs that go for the same pot of money and you have to fight your way out of it. But in terms of actual planning the heist and carrying out the heist, I think that would be your crew only.
Okay, so that's your questions this week. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on GTA VO Clock on Twitter. Please do pop your comments down below. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.